Around 2,500 years ago, China entered the Warring States period, a time when various feudal states were constantly at war with each other. The state of Chu, one of the largest and most powerful, was preparing to invade the state of Sung. The king of Chu hired one of the legendary craftsmen of the time, Liu Ban, to construct war machines such as cloud ladders for their war efforts. In this very moment, a sage came to seek audience with the king of Chu in order to stop the war. After a series of unfruitful debates, he initiated simulations of the siege with Liu Ban using his belt as city wall model and wooden blocks as the models for the war machines. After 9 rounds of duel, all of Liu Ban's simulated siege attempts were foiled by him. In the end, the king of Chu was convinced that this invasion would be unsuccessful, called off the preparations and withdrew his army from the war. This sage who single-handedly prevented this war is called Mozi, the founder of the philosophical school of Mohism, who is also known for his profound writings in engineering, craftsmanship, logic and ethics. Mozi was born in the state of Lu, into a lower-class artisan family from which he developed the similar interests and became an expert craftsman himself. China during that period was known for the 100 schools of thought, where myriads of philosophies sprang up as rulers of the time were seeking new ideas to improve their states while seeking to dominate others. Mozi was schooled in Confucianism in his early years, however he later established his own school of thought of Mohism, as he found Confucianism too focused on the elaborate rituals and social hierarchy which he deemed as too burdensome. He proposed the idea of universal love and equal respect for all in a manner that one might find some similarity in religions such as Christianity. He argued that just as heaven gives out unconditional love, we must love others as we love ourselves, and that people should be judged based on their actions and character rather than their social status or family background. Against the Confucians who maintained that it was natural for people to care about different people in different degrees based on familial relationships and social hierarchy. Mozi, in contrast, argued that people in principle should care for all people equally, a notion that philosophers in other schools found absurd as it seemed to imply that one should care for enemies as much as friends, and to treat your own parents as outsiders. Mozi later left his native state of Lu and became a lower official in the state of Sung, but he also was sought after by many state rulers, mainly for his engineering prowess in fortifications. Throughout ancient China, there was no concept of citizenship, unlike the contemporary Rome or Greece. Intellectuals like Mozi or Confucius were able to freely travel around and propagate their ideas to the various feudal kings and dukes as well as commoners. He traveled extensively, not just to propagate his thoughts and to gain followers, but also to try to persuade the rulers to stop the wars and promote peace among the nations. He opposed the annexation of smaller states by larger ones, especially if that's done through warfare, and advocated for nonviolent resolution of conflicts. His passion was said to be for the good of the people, without concern for personal gain. Even his Confucian rival, Mencius, wrote in admiration that Mozi believed in love for all mankind, even if it meant, quote, hurting his head or his feet. In addition to his political and engineering contributions, Mozi was a prolific thinker who wrote extensively on a wide range of subjects, including ethics, logic, and science. He developed his own principles of logic, known as 3 tests of based on basis, verifiability and practicality, and he proposed a basic form of empiricism that all knowledge must be based off what you could sense by eyesight or hearing. Mozi was also among the first to describe the concept of the camera obscura, a device that projects an image of an object onto a screen. And he also described a rudimentary form of the Euclidean geometry principles as well as proposing a form of atomism not that dissimilar to that of Democritus. During his lifetime, Mozi managed to attract a large following, making Mohism one of the biggest school of thoughts that rivals Confucianism. It was said that he had more than 1,000 disciples in his lifetime, and that in the later period, Mohist craftsmen and engineers were hired across Chinese feudal states to help build fortifications and to assist in the defensive warfare. Mohism was the second largest school of thought throughout the whole Warring States period after Confucianism. However, after China was unified under the single emperor, Qin Shi Huang, Mohism gradually fell out of favor and eventually died out. There were several reasons for this. First of all, the Qin dynasty heavily promoted legalism, which proposed heavy state control and centralization, and the first emperor sought to diminish and even ban the other schools of thought, including Mohism. After Qin dynasty, the subsequent dynasties promoted Confucianism. Mohism was again marginalized by the bureaucrats. Additionally, with no more independent states to defend against, the need for defensive engineering and Mohist defense expertise had all but gone. Thirdly, the Mohist ideals of universal love and equal respect for all was also considered to be too radical and was not favored by the ruling class, whose interest is to maintain the existing social hierarchy. Moreover, Mohist ideas that rituals are unnecessary and burdensome went against hundreds of years of tradition dating back to the Zhou dynasty. In the end, Confucianism and Buddhism became dominant while Mohism was fallen out of favor. However, thanks to the partial preservation of Mohist texts, we are able to understand the brilliance of Mo Zhi and his school of thought, and to appreciate that his ideas were indeed very much ahead of its time, wondering what would happen to the ancient China if his rudimentary form of logic and atomism was further developed and carried on by his students and later generations. Thanks for watching.